Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andrew Cummins. I'm joined here by my colleague Mo Adun, and today we're going to take a look at the new features that are coming in Amicus Attorney 20.3. So just a couple of housekeeping items before we jump in. One, please use the question option in the GoToMeeting control panel on the right-hand side if you do have any questions. We'll certainly have time to cover those at the end of the session, and anything we miss, we can certainly take that up offline. So for today's presentation, we're going to just jump through a couple of items here. We're going to talk about what is new. We're then going to jump in and actually let you see what is coming in the next version. And then, as I said, we'll have some time for the question and answers. So let's just jump in really quickly, not to take up any time, and talk about some of the new features that are coming your way. So a big one, and this is, again, we try to take a look at feature requests that are coming in from our users. And once we get into the product, we'll show you how we can use that so you can go and provide your feedback. But let's look at these changes. So one right off the bat is new changes that allow administrators to go and change preferences for users. This is a great option for both enterprise firms as well as small ones, where admins can now have more control over the details for user preferences. We've also spent a lot of time and energy improving the email integration in Amicus Attorney 20.3. So this is a big part of what you'll see in terms of improvements. We're talking dozens and dozens of performance improvements, and I think you'll be really happy with the results. We've also added a couple features there with respect to the embedded Outlook view, now a better tree view option on the left-hand side, and now the ability to handle read and delivery receipt requests for email messages you sent out. Then we've also got some really cool changes for document assembly, and this really provides a lot more granularity for inserting document variables into your document templates. So we will jump in and take a look at that in a moment too. And I'll just now turn it over to Mo to talk about some of the billing improvements to Amicus Attorney 20.3.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mo. I'm the back office manager for Amicus Attorney. We have some additional feature in the APX area. Right now, you can process credit card payment and ACH payment after a bill is rendered, or if you do it before the bill is rendered, it's treated as a general retainer or trust retainer. Now, from the feedback, based on the feedback from a vote, we added a feature here that will allow you during the billing process to pay through APX, create your bill and make the payment immediately when you finalize the bill. We also add an option there to edit the payment method. When you add a payment method to a contact, you basically supply the information and submit it, such as the credit card number, billing address, email address, etc. And we found after that is submitted, there was nowhere for the user to go back and make material changes, such as the email address and the billing address. Of course, we will not allow you to change the credit card number. We also include in the new feature an option to import time and fees, and this is separate from importing your files and contacts, so that feature is still there. This is important from a CSV file, time or fee entry, and new import of expenses. If you have any sort of devices that you capture expenses on, such as copy track, you can then download that information on the CSV file and import that rather than having to retype that information. Included in this update is also a feature where we allow the firm to determine at what point they want to turn on the billing feature. Currently, when you're licensed for billing, you're forced basically to go and turn on the billing automatically. The system will then allow you to do billing feature. We find in the past that some firm would like to finish their billing cycle so that they can create their billing, their third-party system, and later on turn on the billing feature. So we give that option so that they can, at their convenience, they can go and turn on that feature. And lastly, there we add some billing behavior to your client expense we find that a number of firms would like to enter expense and then see where those expenses are going, basically who they're paying those expenses for. So we add that feature on the billing side. And I'll let Andrew take over.
Sure, yeah. So I just got a couple of other quick points to get to before we jump in and let you see what we're talking about. So the next section is with respect to document management. And of course, you know that Amicus Attorney has the ability to have both user-managed and Amicus-managed documents. And we've really further beefed up that migration. So as you're moving from Amicus-managed to user-managed or from user-managed to Amicus-managed, some great improvements there and overall performance. Other ones, if you're looking to get ProServe to create custom reports for you, we've added a whole bunch of new parameter options for those reports so that you can really be prompted for more information upon generation. And then you'll also find that the updater itself has been improved to make it much easier to apply updates to new versions of Amicus Attorney. And then the final bullet is just Google recently made a change to their authentication so that if you are taking advantage of the Google Contact and Calendar Sync within Amicus Attorney, new users would require the latest version of Amicus Attorney in order to because Google has changed their authentication, we would need to update the latest version in order to enable that for new users. But I don't want to take any more time, so let's jump in and see what this is all about right within the app itself. So I'm just going to jump over, and we're now logged in as Bobby Donnell, and we're going to take a look at a couple of things. Before I talk about the brand new features we've added, I did want to call out the ability for you guys to go and provide us with feedback. So right up in the top right-hand corner, you'll notice there's a feedback option that you can also go into the Help Center and choose the Suggestions Feedback link here. And that allows you to go and put in suggestions and also vote on suggestions made by other users of Amicus Attorney. That really helps make our job easier here for both Mo and myself, so that we can go and add new features based on what our users are looking for. Okay, so let's quickly look at the first of the bullets that I talked about, and that is the ability for an administrator to go in and change preferences. Of course, right now, any user can go in, log into Amicus, and go up to Preferences and have access to their various settings. Now we've added a tool that lets administrators do this for other users. So as an administrator, I'm logged in as Bobby, I'm an administrator. These options here appear only because I'm logged in as an administrator. And now if I click onto user management, I've got a couple of different options. So I can go and right-click onto Andrew Cummins here, and you'll notice I have a new option for Open User Preferences. I can click that, and you'll notice it now brings up a separate window that has the preferences for Andrew. So this is a great option for, again, as I said earlier, enterprise users, so larger firms or even very small firms, to go in and set various preferences. So in the past, let's close out of that for one moment. In the past, you could go in and either double click or choose the Open Admin profile or just Open, so we can just click on Open there. You would have been able to modify some basic preferences as the administrator, so you'd be able to go to Admin, and then you'd see some options here. So in the past, you could modify billing rate values here, but you'll notice that we've removed that because now we have the option to open user preferences or modify user preferences, and you can do so much more than just modify billing rates themselves. So you can see a couple of options we've actually gone and disabled because, of course, they not useful as an administrator to go in and make these changes, but you'll see it's actually very, very powerful. This even includes the email settings. So as you're setting up a link to Outlook or to Exchange, the administrator can go through and set up those options, with the exception of the initialize, which still needs to take place at the actual firm member's workstation. But really, you now have so many more controls as an administrator to make sure that various preferences are consistent across the entire firm. Okay, so that was a very quick look at that change. The next one I want to talk about is related to email. And of course, that's a big part of everyone's day is dealing with the constant flow of email communications. And one of the options that we want to talk about here is, well, I'll show you the Outlook embedded view here that you're seeing on the screen. But really, as a part of this update, Amicus Attorney 20.3, we've gone and put a lot of time and energy into improving the integration with for email purposes, as well as the contact and calendar. So what you'll find is a whole bunch of performance improvements here, and I think you're going to be really happy with the changes. Now, as far as features go, what you'll notice is if you've turned on the Outlook embedded view, and this is the option where so you've got your outstanding, all, and the Outlook view here, this allows you to actually see exactly what's going on in Outlook right inside of Amicus Attorney. What you'll find is we've now, part of this change, we've really cleaned up this tree view on the left-hand side, so you can take advantage of your entire screen real estate. We've also gone and gotten rid of the any of the non-email related folders. You won't see a journal or memos or that kind of thing as different folders here. So just a nice sort of cleanup and overall improvement. Now another nice option within Outlook is the ability to automatically request a receipt basically whenever you send an email message out. So within Outlook you can set a preference to say every time you send an email message out, request a delivery receipt and request a read receipt. So this is based on a preference within Outlook itself, and we can now go and honor that. So if we just go into options for one moment, and we can go and turn that on, and you'll see how we can now go and enable that. So we'll go to options, we'll go to mail, and if we scroll down here a little bit, you'll notice that there's an option for tracking, and you can say delivery receipt and read receipt. And basically that allows you to keep track of when recipients, what they've done with messages as they've received them. So now for any new outgoing message I create in Outlook, those two options are checked by default. Now in order to make Amicus Attorney aware of that change, I just want to quickly show you that. So if we go into, go to Office, we'll go to Preferences, and then under the email links, we'll just click onto email. Under the step 1. So that's where you can go and change some of your preferences. We'll just click Test Connection and then click the Next button. And this is where, again, you can turn on the Outlook embedded view, for instance, but it's now down here at the bottom where you can choose how you want to observe that. So if we just click Update from Outlook, it now checks those two options so that whenever you send a new email message from Amicus Attorney, that it will actually have those two options checked too. Awesome. So that's a very quick overview of a couple of changes there. Let's next look at the document assembly changes. And this is respect to variables that relate to the people on file. So we've opened up the Cooperman matter here, and we can see the people on the file. We got Jim, Harold, Doug, and you can see that, of course, as you know, we can generate documents based on the information in Amicus Attorney. What we've now done is added a lot more granularity, but also more fields so that you can go and generate documents that really relate to specifically the people on the various files. So if we go in quickly to look, excuse me, we'll go into your document template. So we'll go to Merge Templates here. And I've gone and set up an example one. We'll go to Letters and all new custom fields. You can see just how many new fields we've gone and entered in. So we'll just click the Edit Template here, and it's going to open up in Word and let us actually see the changes. So right off the bat, in this first section, you can see we've now added a People on the File Basics. So just for anyone who's not familiar with this, you can go into the Add-ins option within Word and choose Select Fields. And that then allows you to choose a category of fields to insert into your document templates. What you'll find is we previously had one called People on the File. It's now been renamed People on the File Basics. But we've added now People on the File Addresses, Communications, and then Custom Information. And that's huge because, of course, you can go and track all kinds of information in custom fields on your contacts, and that's now able to be inserted into your document templates related to people on the file. So what we can see is right off the bat, we've now gone and added in additional granularity rather than just doing an address block. We can go in and put the various fields, but it's actually here. So now we've got all of these people on the file address fields that can be inserted. We've got people on the file communication fields, and then of course, as I said, any custom fields. So any custom fields you create on your contacts can now be included in there. So very quickly, before I turn it over here to back over to Mo, let's just very quickly go and generate a document. So we'll go back to Cooperman here, and we're going to let's select two different contacts. So again, we've got Jim Cooperman is selected and Douglas Brackman. So we've got essentially our first and our second contact. If we go now to Actions, Generate a Document, I've gone and created a sample one here that just has a couple of those fields for the people on the file contact details, and it will then insert that into my Word document, which again makes it much easier for me to work on. So you can see we'll just close out of that. It's able to put in the granularity of the broken down address, more communication fields, and then the custom fields, so the details that are stored on Jim Cooperman or those on Douglas Rackman on the file as well. So I think you'll find that that's a really great improvement and allows you to make some much more sophisticated document assembly templates. So with that, we'll now turn it over to Mo here.
Thanks, Andy. Okay, I'll just switch over here now to the billing part of it. My billing VM, let me just minimize that. Sorry. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So the first thing in billing here I'd like to cover is allowing the user to change the payment method. As you all know, you add a payment method, recording the client credit card information, and that is saved in the contact card. So I'm in the client screen here. I'll open this contact here, and you'll notice when I go in there, the client have multiple credit card listed there. I'm just going to select one of these and make a change. There are two types of APX transaction. There's a credit card transaction, and we accept American Express, Visa, MasterCard, and Discovery. And we also do what we call ACH, and that is a bank-to-bank payment. Let me just open one of these. I'll open a credit card one, and you'll notice that on the screen here, the credit card selection is selected and grayed out, so you can't switch it back and forth. We can edit the client name. If the name is incorrect, we can edit the name there. Notice the card number is disabled because we don't want to change that, but we allow the user to change, other information like the month, expire month and year, the billing address, along with the email address. And I'll just change this one here from Terry to myself, and I'll just click on submit. And then we can go back in there and I'll show you that that was changed. If I go in there, you can either double click that entry or that payment method, or you can right mouse click the payment method, and you'll notice that it's changed there, the email address, right? And that's the one for credit card. I'll just quickly show you the one for the bank account. So if I do a right mouse click, I was double clicking, I just want to show you if I do a right mouse click, you can select open, and this one is for your ACH. It'll have your account, and here again, we disable the banking information, but you can make changes to the rest of it. So that's become very helpful if client change address, client change email address, or their billing address. You can just quickly come in here and change that rather than having to create a new payment method. The other thing that we added was allowing you to accept credit card when you process your bills. I'm just going to go through the file section here, and I'll select one of the file here. I'll just open the file to show you a few things in here. So I'm on the billing view. I have billing information that I can bill. I set up my system on this file under the admin bill setting. There's an option there, a new option that says use credit card ACH, and what that will tell the system is to automatically pick up the balance from the bill and charge your credit card. Now remember, when you're going through a billing process, you normally take the bill in the draft to review. At that stage, no credit card is processed until you send that bill to final and do a printed post. And that's when you finalize the bill, and at that point, the credit card is processed using that date. So I have a file here that I'd like to go through. This file also have a contact, the same contact that we are looking at earlier with that credit card payment method. So if I go in here and look at the fees, we have a $400 fees. We have a retainer here of $200 and trust balance of $200. So if we go and create a bill, on the billing screen here, you'll notice that the system takes out whatever is available in the general retainer. That's the hierarchy. It takes the general retainer first, then it takes from whatever it can take from trust, and then it takes from the credit card. Now, I put in a small amount there because I just want to process the credit card for a small amount rather than a large amount. So in this case, I'll send that bill to draft. And you'll notice on the transfer screen, we have that information transfer here. We can edit this as normal as before you edit these information, and then you click on apply there, and that will take you, it'll update the data for you. You can make changes before your fees, your expenses, etc. Now I'm just going to send this one bill into final. So at this stage, that payment is not processed. So it gives us a chance to review, make changes, etc. We can send the bill to final. And at this stage, the credit card amount is not processed as yet. The transfer total amount, you notice it's $501, which include that credit card transfer. If I do a print bill summary, I'll just bring it up on the screen here. You'll notice, I'll open that a bit, the payment column now updates that credit card information. Although it haven't taken it, it just shows you that it was paid there. If I delete the bill at this point, it wouldn't process that credit card. When I do a print and post, at that stage, it will then prompt you to make some choices here. Now, the reason for this is if you're printing and posting multiple bills, we don't want the system to stop and prompt you with information or prompt you with a dialogue so that you can take some action. We want for you to just print and post, make your selection, and then go and collect all your bills either in your email draft or your printer when it's completed. So we give you an option here in case there's an issue with the credit card. What should we do? Should we go ahead and create the bill without the credit card payment? Or in the other option, the alternate option is to not create the bill, let the bill remain in final. So it'll go through and process the rest of the bill that it can, as much as it can, and leave the bill in final here that you can go and tend to the credit card information or whatever the problem might be. In this case, I'll just say create a bill anyways, and I'll process it. So we get the regular screen here with an option. If I want, I can send an email, add an email address. That means send the invoice as an attachment, or I can just proceed. I'll just proceed here. I don't have email set up on here. And what will happen at this point, the system is going through creating your bill, and at the same time, it processes a credit card payment. So if you look at the bill here, we'll see that the payment now includes a credit card. So we have the payment amount here of $501, which includes your transfer, and you can see that there's a payment here, the payment of the credit card here. We go back to the file, and we look at the bill here. We'll see that we had the transfer from your retainer. We keep all the payments separate. We have the transfer from your general retainer. We have the transfer from your trust, and we have that APX payment here. So if I open that APX payment, it's like a regular APX that you entered after the fact, but this is during the billing process. Now it makes it easier to receive your payment here. You'll notice that it's today's date. It have a confirmation number because it was successful, and it have the payment there. And there are two things you can do with this. You can either cancel here, or you can void or refund that transaction. And I'll do that later on, but I could, it's just a credit card payment. I'll void that later on. Okay. So the other thing that we add in this version, the other feature, is the option to import fees and expense from a CSV file. Now, before I go into the import here, I'd like to just cover a few areas here. We add a security profile for important, and on the billing profile area here, under Office Action, and we're performing an action there, we have import of fees and import of expense. Now, on users, you can make restrictions so that they don't import those transactions. However, I'm logged in here as a billing supervisor. That's why it does need to be turned on for me, and I'll have access for that. So billing supervisor always have access to these features. The other thing we set up in the firm setting here, we need to define a format of your CSV file. And basically what we allow you to do is the flexibility of creating your own format, and then you can select that format within the import area here. Before I get in there, I'd just like to bring up what the format look like. This one here is for your time entry here. I'll just increase the size here. And you'll notice I have a simple format. We do ship the system with this particular format that I'm listing here. And basically the fields are date. I'll show you the CSV in a moment. We have the date, we have the client, we have matter ID, etc. So we have basically the information that you would normally enter when you enter a time entry if you invoke the time entry from within the application. Just to show you the layout of that, sorry, that's the wrong folder. I'll just go in and open the time entry here. I'll just open that with, so I'll just open that with Excel there so that you can see the column. And so it have the date, the client ID, the matter ID, a short file name, and some of these are optional. It's in the help section, those are optional. And in this case, I enter a time entry here, and I also enter one for flat fee. If there's no duration or rate, it's a flat fee. We also handle import of task-based billing file, and in which case you'll enter UTBMS task code and activity code on that transaction file. So that's the first thing there. So once you define that layout and you create your file, you can then go and import the file. However, we allow you multiple selection for the layout. So if you have, if you're importing from two different software and you might have two different layouts, you can have, you can create two different layouts and come in here and set up those layouts. That layout is accessible through the firm setting under import here. And we have one for your time entry and one for your expense entry here. For your time entry, we will ship the one that is called Amicus time format. And we have another one there called time entry import configuration. We're testing with some other popular format. And we have one here for your expense, right? For your time entry, you can indicate whether that time entry should be marked as posted when you're importing it. When you're importing the time entry, you have to make a decision whether it should be unposted, which means you can go back and make all your changes that you need and then post it. You'll have to post it in order to bill it. If you send it in as posted, it becomes available for billing immediately. So I have my two option or my two formats selected there. I can go into the office under the action, and we have an import option now for your time and fees. So I'll just go in there, select the time and fee here. I'll select that layout, and I'll just do an import. Now, before I do the import, sorry, on the file that we had there, the CSV file, you'll notice that the first column, or the first row there is a header field. Row. So I'll indicate here the first row contain the field name, and therefore the system will know that it has to skip that field. Now, we have the option to import, but before we import, I'll just like to go and look at view log. So if I go into view log, it will bring up the log, and if you notice, I previously imported something there, and there was some failure. Now, we're going to write out in the log just the failure item. We are not going to write out if the item was successful, because then we'll clog up the log. So let's go and import that. And we had 2 entries that were successful. If I go and view the log, you'll notice it said when the import was started, 2 entries were successful. A little different from the one above there where there was a failure. It will list the record that it failed on. So let's do another one for the expense. I have the expense layout here. The expense layout, basically what we're doing is defining the same fields that are available when you're doing an expense entry. So we have to enter the date, the client ID, matter ID, etc. And if we go to the layout there, the CSV file, sorry, you'll notice, and I'll open that with Excel also, and you'll notice I have 3 entry there, and in this particular import file, I list one record to be an invalid record. Instead of 004, I put 400 so that we can see the exception. So if we go into the import now, and we're going to import expenses, and we'll browse there. Now, we force the user to do a browse because we don't want you to import the same file multiple times. So you consciously have to go and select the file, and then we'll allow you to do the import. And in this case, we have 2 entries successful and 1 failed. So if you look at the log file again, we have appended to the log file is the failure item. So we have one of the 3 record that failed, and it says it's record 2. Now, what we're also doing is we're creating a failed file, a separate file for that failure. So later on, you can go and make changes to that failed item and re-import it. So it's called failed import CSV. So if I open that in Excel here, you'll notice I open the right file. Yeah, the failed one. Failed file. So once I open that file, it'll show me the failed transaction, and then I can go and make my changes. I'll notice here that it's the matter ID that is failed, and then I can do the re-import of it. Right? You'll notice that what it says, the matter ID string it couldn't find. Right? Couldn't find a client and matter ID string combination. So I can make my changes, come back, and do the import again. Right? Okay. The other item we have there is what we call decoupling of the billing for licensing purposes. Currently, in our current software, whenever a billing license is applied, the firm will immediately have billing available. Sometimes some firm want to complete their billing cycle with link to their third-party accounting systems such as TimeSlip, PCLog, etc. So this is a convenient way of allowing the firm to decide when they want to start their billing process. And what we do in the accounting area here, we add an option there that says use Amicus billing. So the user can come and turn on the billing function at their convenience. So they are not forced to start using the billing. So if they apply the billing license in the middle of the month and they want to complete their billing for the month using their old accounting system, they can continue to do that when the billing license is applied. Later on, once they are completed in their billing cycle, they can then come and turn this on. Now, once you turn this on, the system will go through a series of wizards. I don't want to go through that with our limited time right now. But basically what it'll do, it'll prepare your database for billing. It normally do some adjustment to your time entry, post the time entry. It flags those time entries so that the time entry is not included in your Amicus billing now, because once posted, it's assumed that it's already built or it's in the process of being built in your third-party accounting software. And lastly, a number of firms have requested that we add, on the expense section, we add who the expense was paid to and a behavior similar to your time entry bill and behavior. So when you go to do a new expense now, we add two fields in there. We add a vendor field where who you're paying the expense to, and we add a bill and behavior here that works exactly as the time entry bill and behavior that you're accustomed to. Basically, if you flag it as bill, that means it will be included in the bill as a billable item, work in progress. If there's no charge shown bill, it will inform the client that it's a no charge entry. And if you said don't show on bill, it will just remain in your system for your own accounting purpose as a notation in there. Now, for the vendor, for the to field, you can select from a list of contacts that you have in there, or you can type in your own value, your own vendor in there. Let me just type in. Sorry. Let's say Speedy Courier, and you can then enter your courier expenses, courier charges, and you enter what the value you want to enter, and that's too much, $100, right? And you can click on OK, right? And that will be saved on that file, right? On this file, I did the import on this file here, so you can see those import activity that I did previously, and then this is the charge, the courier charge that I just entered with the Speedy Courier in there. Okay, and basically what will happen is that you can now keep track of expense, which vendors you're paying those expenses to. Okay, and I think that's all for me right now. So I'll switch you over to Andrew. Thank you.
Yeah, great job, Mo. Thanks a lot. Okay, so we've gone perhaps a little long here, but we'd like to open it up to questions as well. But as we're taking a look at that, I did want to just point out a couple of things. Well, one, obviously, thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch this. I did also want to make sure that if you're already on Amicus Attorney 20, so a version of that, then you will get an automatic notification, or your administrator will, that you can apply the update when it is available. So it is right around the corner. We're pretty excited, and the team has been working really hard here to add a whole bunch of new features. So let's just take a look at it and see if we got any questions that have come in. And yeah, there's maybe a couple of questions here just in terms of when it's coming out. Yeah, as I said, it's very, very soon. We will be able to do that. Yeah, there's actually not, no, just some questions about particular features that they're looking to add, and certainly I would invite you to take a look at the feature upvote to go in and put in some suggestions for features you'd like to have added. And then just a couple of questions, people had specific issues. We can certainly reach out offline to talk about those and see if they are in this version or not. Yeah, and it's just a question of their list. That yes, once we when the release does actually happen, you'll be able to see a complete list of all of the features that have been actually added into it, and take a look into more detail than just what the big features that Mo and I happen to cover here today. Okay, well, okay. I don't know if there's any other questions, but certainly if you do have anything that does come in, yeah, there's a question I think more directed towards sales, and I can certainly put you, we'll send that information over, your question, to sales, and they can certainly help you out with that as well. Okay, well, again, I want to thank everyone for taking some time out of their busy day to participate in the webinar, and of course, stay tuned. We will be able to release this very, very soon.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.